In this video, I'm going to make a position time graph for this data here that was gathered by rolling the bowling ball down through the commons, 5-meter distance intervals, and then timing how long it took to go each of those 5-meter intervals. So to do that, to make this graph, I'm going to, well, first of all, I need to get these all highlighted. And then we're going to go to insert, and we're going to insert a scatter plot. That's going to give us an X versus Y graph. We don't want any other kind. We don't want a line graph. Don't let the terminology fool you here. We want X versus Y. It's going to look something like that. That looks pretty good already because it looks like it's going to be some straight lines. They're all going to go through 0, 0. So that looks pretty good. One thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to move this chart. I'm going to make it a new sheet, which is going to make it a full-size screen. And also when it prints, it will print a full sheet of paper. I'm going to go up here and pick this first chart layout, because what that does is it allows me to just type in here that I'm going to put the time on the x-axis, and that's going to be in seconds, because that's what we do when we do position time graphs. We put time on that axis, and this is going to be the distance or the position. And that's going to be, oops, I did that wrong. Let's do it again. Position, and that's in meters. Okay, and we're going to give it a title like, let's call it common bowling. All right, and the next thing we need to do here is this. We're going to put time down here in position here, but if we go back to our data, which is right down here in this tab, notice that it's the distance in the first column, and Excel defaults to putting that on the x-axis. So if I go back here, this is the distances. Then if you look at the numbers, you can see, well, actually, because they put the numbers from 40 to 40, it's not easy to tell. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to switch the data around and flop what's printed on each axis. So to do that, we're going to go here to this screen, okay, which was, if we do that again, I clicked inside on nothing, I right-clicked, I went to select data. And I go here, I'm going to click on Series 1, and I want to edit Series 1. It gives you these 3 lines, and I'm going to use these little pictures out here for all this. So I click on this first picture. What I want on the x-axis will be these times, because I want time on the x-axis. And so I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on this picture. Then for the y-axis, say it says Series Y values, click on this, and I want these distances there. And I do this, and then I say OK. Now you may not see much difference in the graph, but it has changed. Do the same thing for Series 2, edit it. For the x values, I want these times. For the y values, I want these distances. Like that. Okay, we got one series left to go. Click that, edit that. On the x-axis, I want these times. Yes. On the y-axis, I want these distances. And OK, and we have changed all of them, so let's just say OK. Now it looks similar to what it did before, but you may notice the slopes are steeper, which is to be expected. All right, now I want to put in trend lines, so I'm going to pick the blue ones here. I'm going to click on that to highlight those, and then I'm going to right-click, bring up this menu, add a trend line. It'll take it a second. Okay, it's going to suggest a linear one, which looks pretty good for that data. I want to display the equation on the chart because the equation is going to tell us something interesting. We can put the R-squared value, the regression value, which tells us how close the line is to the actual data. Okay, and there that is. I'm going to move that, if it'll let me grab a hold of it. So move it over here a little bit out of the way. Do the same thing for this. Click, right-click, add a trend line. And it's still linear. I want to put those 2 things on there. And I'm going to put that right over here. I'll grab it, just move it just a little more, maybe if it'll let me. There we go. And add the trend line on this one. Still linear. Yep, still linear. Close that. Okay, and so there we have the position versus time graph. Looks pretty good. The R-squared values, if they're 1, they're perfect, and these are really close to 1. The values here of the equations, they are in slope-intercept format, so y equals mx plus b. That's pretty good. So here we have the position and time graph for the bowling ball motion.